Hi, so I'm with Carlee and Danielle here at the WeBank National Conference in Detroit, and they're both from Southern California, and they traveled all the way to Detroit to join us for this, which is so cool. How you guys liking Detroit so far?
It's cool.
Have you been here before?
Never.
Have you?
First time.
So what do you think about it?
No, it's pretty cool, and we're excited to go over to Canada.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I know. Isn't it crazy that you could like
we're
literally
sitting right
see it?
here.
We're gonna swim across.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, so I sat down weirdly and creepily with them to ask them how do they manage their energy when they come to events like this, because they traveled all across the country. Does coming to an event like this suck the life out of you, or does it, like, are you excited and energized by it? That's the first question.
For me, I feed off of women's energy. I love being around this kind of energy. I love being around women. So I thrive on this. I also pace myself. So when you're looking at a conference this size, quite a few workshops, you just kind of have to pace yourself, and you have to kind of know what you really want to do and what you can kind of pass on, just to kind of stretch out your day. Otherwise, you're going to burn out, after the first day.
So don't try to necessarily do everything.
Don't try to do everything. Definitely not.
What
Just
about
be
you?
strategic.
See, for me, I think it just depends on where I'm at. Leaving work obviously causes a little bit of stress. So like being out, for the week. So it just kind of depends on like what I have going on with my work schedule. So if it's like a busy work week, I feel a little bit more like, it's draining my energy, because I'm also trying to balance it. So I'm trying to still, be on my emails and doing that at the same time. So if I feel like I have more of a like relaxed week, then I do feel like my energy's there and I'm ready to rock and roll. So it kind of just depends on the workflow.
So what do you do when you're feeling stressed? Like if you're feeling the stress of your work obligations while you're at something, like how are you managing that?
I think sometimes,
or are you not managing?
I think it's about like taking a minute to yourself. Sometimes coming outside and seeing the view. That's why we kind of came out here, to just like take a second and to kind of be away from people for a second. So I think sometimes,
and then I had to come and rain on your parade.
I think it's sometimes like just making sure that you take that time to yourself, because you are around a lot of people and you're networking and you're socializing, and you feel like you're constantly having that human interaction. So sometimes it's like just taking a minute to just like focus on you and just like, all right, like I just need a second. So
Absolutely.
and cocktails.
Being outside.
And lots of cocktails.
Which is what we're gonna do next.
Right. And just coming out here and just, getting a little reset. Coming out, being a little mindful, paying attention to what's around, all the elements, and just kind of escaping that busy world in there right for just a few minutes, just to kind of reconnect and reset, and go back in and be ready to do it again.
Yeah, I think that's exactly how I feel. I was saying yesterday that I really like to like go outside and just sort of reconnect with nature a little bit.
Absolutely.
Because if you're trapped indoors all day, it can really start to feel like the walls are closing in.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And know what works for you. We walked into an event last night. It was just so much energy, and it was just like screaming and just all of it. It was a tight space. So sometimes you just have to know when to, kind of cut it short and just move on to something else, because when you look at it overall, there's going to be lots of opportunities to connect. Everybody comes here with the idea of wanting to connect as much as possible, and there's plenty of opportunities. You can cross somebody in between workshops and have a conversation. So it doesn't always have to be about being, in the tight spots with all the people there. You're not necessarily going to have a really good positive interaction anyway, because it's going to be too short, and nobody's really, they can't hear you, and you can't really make any good conversation.
Do you have a plan for connecting with people when you come, or do you just sort of try and see what happens?
I do a little bit of both. I try to plan something, but I also go with the flow. If it doesn't work out, like for example last night, thinking, okay, we'll go to the event. There's going to be a lot of WBEs there, and maybe we can kind of meet and mingle. But again, it became so overwhelming that we just touched base with a couple of people, and then we just kind of backed our way out the door.
And the interesting thing was the connection that we did have was a very successful connection. So sometimes knowing that like, okay, I got one good thing, out of this, like, okay, now it's time to just like refocus
and that's all it needs to be sometimes.
It was a regional connection, which because when we get back to California, that's what's going to be important to us, is being able to continue that.
Isn't it funny, you fly all the way across the United States to have a connection in your region, but sometimes Are you really involved with your RPO back in
You know,
California?
we've attended functions in the last year. We've attended more functions and really gotten involved. We've been certified for about 4 years now.
Oh, okay.
And just in this last year, really started getting more aggressive in attending functions. But for me, going back, I think my goal, my 90-day goal, is to try to get involved with the region and to really get involved with WBE. You know, just have more of
Yeah, I think it's really helpful to be very involved with your organization if you can.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, that has made a big difference for us. Yeah. Thank you.
You're
Very
welcome.
much.
Thank
I
you
really
so much.
appreciate it. It's so
Appreciate
good meeting
you.
both of you.
Likewise.
Thank you.